Cool. So, yeah, I'm gonna just run through my code real quick for documentation sakes. This is programmed in Python because of the Pygame utility, and also for potential machine learning purposes, I probably won't use hard-coded machine learning just because, for sake of time, it's simpler to not, and to just use a pre-built utility to run the machine learning on the data. But fairly simple. Import Pygame, all this stuff. Want to be able to work with the OS, the system, and have different math functions. So import all of that. Want to have Pygame starting. This is just the window, the width and height of my window, which is also the dimensions of the background image that I have, and the background image I have is just called background.png. My thing is called Endless Runner. Very creative. I'm not really about recreating the wheel. Starting positions for the scrolling background is at 0, and then at the end of the first background image. That way it's like constantly scrolling. When one is leaving the frame, the second one is coming onto the frame, so it's a continuous scroll. And I have a clock built in because it helps for timing. Cool. So the player object is my player, and I have 3 different states that the player can be in, because there's like 3 states that usually in an Endless Runner. This is primarily based off of the Chrome Dino game. So I have just plain running, a jumping animation, and a duck, which each of those is just a single image because we're not recreating the wheel. This is borrowed from someone else's code. Basically, it's a list of 108 numbers to tell my program like what height the object should be at different intervals. So that's how that works. And then for initializing it, we initialize its X and Y, or its position to X and Y, whatever I put in for the object. And then I put in width and height because that's the size of the image. And then to start off, it's not going to be jumping or ducking. It won't have a duck count. It won't have a jump count. Those are used to tell it when to like stop jumping and when to stop ducking. It won't have a run count. Forget why. Some of this I filmed I programmed after midnight, so it's been a while. Don't quite remember. And then this is to tell it to start getting up. Let's see, draw. Oh yeah, this is how I draw my player. Basically, a bunch of Python stuff. Basically, if it's jumping, make it go up. If the jump count gets to the end, tell it to stop jumping. So reset the jump count, tell it to stop jumping, or that it's not jumping, and then run count will go to 0 as well. Then ducking is pretty similar. And then else run count is just for stuff and things. There's slight variation that it does within the image. Redraw the window. This is where most of the stuff happens. So for each time it goes through the gameplay loop, it'll draw the two images, it'll draw the runner, my player object, and it will display all that. Like it'll update the display. My runner is just a player object, and I put it in at 80/127 because that's just you'll see once I start playing the actual game. That's where it looks nice. It looks close enough to the start of the screen, and it looks like it's running on the ground, and it's a 32/32 image, 32/32 pixels. And the game speed is run off of a timer. That way, like everything's universal frame rate and everything. And yeah, this is the gameplay loop. Basically, well, I haven't exited out of the game. It will redraw the window, and it will move both background images to the left, making it appear as if my player is moving to the right. And yeah, basically this will reset the images once they get to where as soon as they're completely off screen, they get sent back to the right of the screen so that they can keep coming through. Yeah, and so then if you click on the X in the top corner, which is quit, it sets run to false so that it will quit out of the game. And then, yeah, for each user event +1, where did I define that? Pretty sure I defined that. Oh yeah, up here. Oh yeah, so it will do an event called user event +1 every half of a second, 500 milliseconds. And so basically what that does is it just bumps up the speed by 1. And yeah, that's basically the speed will keep increasing. I'm probably going to play around with that. That's probably where the machine learning will come in. And then, yeah, this is all the stuff for keystrokes. Basically, the keys is plugging the keys, like it gets your key presses. And if you are basically, if you press up, it starts in jumping. Press down, it starts in ducking. And yeah, then each loop, it sets the speed to whatever the speed should be, so that the speed gets increased. And so yeah, now I guess I will show you the game. It's got to load in a little bit. But yes, this is the game. The clouds are completely useless. So yeah, you may notice that as I'm jumping and stuff, there's text appearing behind me. That's just the console saying, hey, we don't like that you're decrementing by something that's not an integer. Please don't do that. But it still runs. So, but yeah, it's getting you can tell that it's getting faster. I need to fix the ducking animation because right now he's going into the ground. But overall, it works. Well, actually, for the animation, I could just change the image, because right now it's an image in the bottom half of the 32 pixels. To change it so that it's an image in the top half of the 32 pixels, or in the middle. I don't know. I'll play around with it. But yeah, you can see it gets faster and faster. And yeah, so this is officially the first game that I've made in anything, really. I mean, technically I've made a game in Unity, but I don't really count that. This, like, I had to hard code everything. So, yeah, that is my game. And it's running pretty cool. And, yeah, it's not a whole lot else to say. I like it. It still needs some work, obviously. I don't have any obstacles to jump over yet, but yeah.